good day. So today we're on the caddy doing the rear engine mount. The rear engine mounts on these is two bushes what go into the back of your subframe. Then you have the bar what goes through and bolts in. Well, it's the bushes inside the subframe we're doing today. They're gone. So yeah, pain in the arse to do. Switch your van, show you how to do it. So here we go. Just follow this bar down here, and it's here. These rubbers here need to come out and get replaced. But to get them out, I gotta take the whole rear bottom subframe off, go across, undo everything, and drop the subframe down. Undo this bar here, take this out before I drop the subframe, and drop the subframe so I can get into these bushes here. There's top and bottom. There's a threaded one on the top and non-threaded at the bottom. So yeah, I'll show you that when I've got it off. But first things first is we need to drop these bottom arms, these wishbones here. So we need to undo this one here, that big back one there, both sides, so I can get these wishbones out of the subframe. Then we've got to undo the anti-roll bar and the steering rack off the top. So yeah, firstly all the bolts you can see underneath. This one here, a bit rusty. This one here, this one at the back, down both sides. Then you got the big subframe bolt there, one on either side as well. So yeah, so first things first we're going to do is drop these bottom wishbones, crack open this big one here, because these are a pain in the arse to crack open. As soon as it's cracked open and I know it's loose, then we'll carry on with the rest of the bolts. So yeah, if you're going to have a problem with any, it's normally this one. It's a bitch because it is bolted in to a rubber, so when you try and twist, the rubber's twisting, especially if you've got knackered rubber at the top as well. So yeah, if you're going to do any, try and crack this one open so you know this one's loose. Then we'll start with the rest. Then when everything else is all undone, ready to be dropped, we'll undo these two bolts here, pull this out. After we've undone this bolt here, pull it out, then we'll drop the subframe. So yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to crack all my bolts loose. You're going to need a 13mm, 18mm and a 21mm. So this is 21, the other big ones are 18. Then you got some 16s and 13mm. Then you're going to crack open these ones here at the back. I took mine off ready. These are 13mm. This is what holds your exhaust on your subframe here. So that's loose. There is a wire on the back as well you need to unclip what's on the top around here. So yeah, so all my bolts are loose now. All I've done is use the breaker bar just to crack them all open so I know they're all going to undo all the way across, even these ones here. So the next thing I'm going to do is drop these bolts off here so I can drop this bottom arm off my foot. I ain't going to remove the ball joint from there, I'm just going to undo them from here and drop it down, and this arm will come off. Do that both sides. Then as soon as I've done that, I can drop this bolt off here, this bolt off here, and this arm will come out the way. Do it both sides. Then yeah, then all it is, start undoing all these bolts. Don't forget which bolts go where. So as soon as I drop this, well, I'll undo all this, undo these, pull this out here, then we can drop the old subframe. This is the easy bit. So, there's the wishbones off. Yeah, taking the wheels off just to make the job easier. Put the nuts and washers back on there. Put the nuts and bolts back on there. That rear one there, you need an 18mm spanner to hold the nut above. See that one sticking out there? You get it from the outside. 18mm bolt on top. And that's an 18mm on the bottom, both sides. That's the wishbones out. when you're doing a job like this, you're going to take many parts off. Make sure you got a bit of money in the bank, because as you start taking parts off, you realise they need replacing. Like my bottom arm, the wishbones, you see here, this rear one that goes into the subframe is absolutely knackered. I reckon I could actually pop that out. Look at that, that's knackered. That's how it should look like. That's the driver's side. That's bang on, that is. This is passenger side. So yeah, that could have been causing a bit of wobble on the front. But yeah, so with this and that engine mat moving, this is where my vibrations are all coming from, because I know I replaced all the ball joints and all that shit before. So yeah, there's this and the rear engine mat. So hopefully when I replace this and that rear, well, them bushes in the subframe for the rear engine mat, should be bang on. So yeah, like I said, just make sure you got a bit of money in the bank, because when you start taking things off, you start realising you're needing extra parts. So yeah, there we go. So that's the subframe. Oh, that's the bottom arms, the wishbone, dog bones, whatever you want to call them, what people call them. They're off. So next thing is, we'll crack this engine mount off. Then we'll undo all the bolts underneath, drop all the bolts off, and hopefully the subframe will drop off then. I thought I'd show you this. Is when you undo these two front ones here, this small one goes to the front here, and the long one goes to the back. Yeah, it's self-explanatory really, but I thought I'd show you that. So yeah, like I say, just don't forget where your bolts go. As I'm taking them out and taking bits off, I'm actually putting the nuts and bolts back where they're supposed to be. So yeah, so just don't forget where they go. Yes. Now I got to order a new wishbone and so on. And if this rubber's a bitch to get out and press back in, so it'll take me a couple of days as I've got work in between. So yeah, after a few hours I'll forget where they go. So yeah, just put them back in, especially if they're not bolting straight up into your body. And so yeah, there we go. Let's take this big one out now. So there we go, off. So when you unbolted everything, you need a long strong flat screwdriver, and you just prise it up here, and it's the only steering rack here. These go inside here, so you're going to need a flat screwdriver just to stick underneath and just pry your steering rack up off it. So yeah, oh, and I had a 10mm bolt just on the top here, didn't even realise. And that was this plastic trim bit here where this wire trims around it, goes inside it. So yeah, just a 10mm bolt just on top here where your subframe bolt goes through. So that's it, that's off. So this thing is, put this in the shed and get these rubber mats out. Well, yeah, get these out, cut out, and try and get the new ones in. Alright, so it's in the shed, just foisted up, so I ain't gonna move anywhere. As you can see there, see the splits and the rubber. That's the same on the other side. You've got the splits and the rubber when it moves. So it's not totally gone, but it's on its way. So while the weather ain't bad, might as well get them swapped out. Yeah, as you can see, look, totally splitting there and there. And this is the top mount. This is the top one, top bush. So that's this one here. That's my new one. So yeah, there we go. So your top one is the threaded one, and your bottom one's the no thread. That's where your bolt goes straight through and bolts into the top one. As you can see, you got the mouth of it there. This is where your engine mount goes into here and bolts in. So when you put them in, the mouth has got to be lined up properly. So yeah, they'll be lined up both. So they sit something like this, a bit more lined up. So yeah, so when the setting sits like that, inside there like that. So what we're going to do is going to cut these out, then cut the plastic, as these are only plastic here. Cut the plastic, use the chisel and hammer, knock these out, both of them. Then we'll press these ones in. The fun bit begins. Right, how I'm getting these out is using a blade. I'm cutting the rubbers either side here. Slice the rubbers, the centre will come out. So yeah, just the blade, just cut straight through the rubber, both sides. So once you got the rubber cut off here, like that, and that out, so where the mouth is, that is the weakest point of it, so it's thin, see that? So that be in there like that. So what you want to do, get a chisel or a flat screwdriver, and where the mouth is, you just want to break the plastic here and here, and as soon as you break that plastic, it'll all cave in. So yeah, I'll just use a chisel, just chisel that down, yeah, just till I break that mouthpiece, then it'll all fold in on itself. Like I said, let's go for the mouthpiece, the weakest piece. Like I said, I've used a chisel, and it's cracked it open. There we go. You just pull it out. See what I mean? You just split, just like that. Try not to damage any subframe. So there we go. So what I'm going to do now, clean this out, find something to press this in there. A load of grease, a big nut and bolt. I reckon we'll be able to pull that in. So yeah, let's make something to pull it in. So here we go. So the threaded bit, you can buy that from B&Q, any hardware store. Then you want the nut washers. All I'm using, this is a ball joint remover. It comes with two different types. I'm using that just to put on one side here, the big bit on there, and this just to get it going, pushing in. I have done a bit of wood, 2 circles the same size as this on the outside, and might end up drilling all through the centre where my threaded will go through, cut them out so they'll sit and I can force it in like that. But as I got these at the minute, I'm just going to try and do it this way. So yeah, greased it all up. Make sure your mouth is pointing here. So you want to try and get that bang on as possible. So yeah, and make sure you get them the right way. The last thing you want to do is put the threaded at the bottom and the non-threaded at the top and fuck it up. So doing the bottom first. So yeah, bottom first, non-threaded is going in first. So all I'm going to do is line that up, get it in the centre, tighten 2 nuts either side, get it so it's just lined up perfect, then start tightening away and try and squeeze it in. What we've got to be careful is this bit here bowing out because of the pressure of it going in. If it starts bowing out, then yeah, we'll get around to that. So I've got the lower one in, pain in the arse. So this is how I'm doing it. I've got this on one side, turning it this side, and it's pulling it in here. As you can see, it starts egging here when you're trying to squeeze it in. I've seen people with screwdrivers getting it in and bending it down. There's a high chance of the plastic cracking. You put it in the freezer for a couple of hours, try and shrink it a bit. Yeah, there's all different ways people do it. So all I do is I shimmy a bit off the edge just to put an angle at it, and just keep doing it, releasing it and that, and just lining it up. It will go, just make sure it's well greased. Yeah, so carry on with this, getting it in. It's no quick job, this ain't. Just getting these in is a pain in the arse compared to the rest of the job. So this is how I do it. Put big Jubilee clip, big strong one, so it's just over the mouth. Tighten it up. Yeah, I've had to modify this a bit because my bolt went straight through, so I put a socket on the end. I'd like to say you're going to have to just use your imagination how to do this. Whatever you got, use it. So yeah, this is how I find to stop it from egging as bad. Jubilee clip on it, big strong one. And when it starts lifting a bit, just get an hammer and tap it on the Jubilee clip, or the hose clip, whatever you want to call it. Tap it down, and while you're tapping it, keep tightening, and all of a sudden it will just pop in. And all you gotta do, just keep tightening it till you put it in tight. And you'll see, I can't go any further because I'm right up against this. So now I'll undo this, take this off, as the mouth's virtually in. It's in about 3-4 mil. So I'll take this off and just tighten it, and it will pop it in. So yeah, there we go. So as you can see, took the clip off, the mouth's virtually in. So all I do now is just keep tightening till it pops itself in, until it joins in the middle there. Come on, girl. All the way in. I think we're about there. I think we're about there. Yeah, we're there. We're there. So there we go. That's how to get them in. Like I say, this is the hardest bit, is trying to get them lined up to get them in. But yeah, it's virtually bang on. Now, my mounting bracket go in there when I bolt it in. So yeah, there we go. Pain in the arse. I did try, don't get me wrong, I did try ring quite a few garages just to see if they'll put them in. Yeah, I rang them telling them I had the subframe off, the old ones out, all I needed them was to be put back in. And all 7, no, don't have the tool to do it, the press ain't big enough to do it, even right Volkswagen, and it was like, oh, you'll have to go to Sheffield and all this. Rang up Sheffield, can't do it till next week. All I wanted, these 2 popping in. You've got the proper tools, man. What, half-hour job if that, with the proper tools? And they wanted me to wait till next week. Can't wait till next week, I need the van back on road. So yeah, there we go. Like I say, all I've used, big strong Jubilee clip picked up from B&Q, 70mm to 90mm. It's 90mm. So yeah, these are 90mm. Just slid over, tightened it up as much as I could to hold it. I say, soon you got it virtually there, and the mouth bit's starting to crease up a bit, just tap the top of the Jubilee hose clip there with the hammer, just to keep knocking it down. You want that bit above the mouth, strongest bit above the mouth. yeah, then it will go. So there we go, that's that done. So time now, let's go put this on, or should I do the back rubber on the wishbone? Coffee time. So there we go, that just popped out. I still got to take all this surround off here, shouldn't be that hard, but yeah, that just fell out. Here's the new one, that should be solid. So we've got to get this out and this in. So to take it out bench vise, it'll only come out one way. You see the big bit here? That's going in. So you see the lip here, it's going inside there. So it's got to pop out this way. So all I've done is put it against there, put two big nuts either side there, keep this off there, and I'll just keep put it down on this. You can see it coming. See, it's coming. Yeah. So yeah, see now we're flush there. Now I need to find something to put behind it to force it out even further. So there we go, that's that. All I did, I decided to just give it a couple of taps with the hammer and chisel. Just on the edge there, as you can see. A couple of taps and it just fell out. Like I say, you need to get it started. So with the bench vise, get it started. As soon as it starts coming out and you level, either find a big socket to go on it and do exactly the same method with the vise till it pops, or like I say, I use the hammer and chisel. A couple of taps, it fell out. You just need to get it started, just to try and get it past the fat bit there. So yeah, there's that. I'm gonna give it a clean up now, grease it up, put this one in. So what you want is, see the rubber here, it wants to virtually line up here at an angle, not like that, like that. So I've got two marks on here, so I'm just going to point that arrow there. That's first line now, or second line, whichever way you want to look at it, and that should put me at an angle with that. So when it's on your car, like that, the play will be all good. Rubber will work. So yeah, that's how I line it up anyway. That angle there. The time I've looked at one, these rubbers are pointing up against there. So yeah, that's how I do it. So I line that up, do exactly the same as the other way, put the bolts on this side here, or the nuts on this side, use the vise, pop it in, put plenty of grease on it, let's get it done. So here we go, this is what I made up. Yeah, two extension bars, sockets either side like that, and it's pushing through just a bit further to go. So yeah, like I say, just find what you got in your shed, your garage, and it will work. Just keep trying, I guess. Like I say, I ain't got a press, I can make one, but that's too much fucking around. Probably in the near future I might make myself a press, make this job a little bit easier. But like I say, is when you're not doing them every day and it's just once in a blue moon. Normally I would have just bought the complete wishbone and just bolted it on, but 75 quid for one,
I ain't paying 75 quid when I'm paying about a tenner just for that back fucking bush. So I might as well replace it, because I already replaced the ball joint. So I might as well just buy the back bush and fit the back bush. But if you, I'd say if you need both or all three, it might be worth buying the whole wishbone. If you're only replacing one, if any one's gone, then it's worth doing it this way. But like I say, just make whatever you can up to do it. So yeah, all I do with these videos for is to show people things can be done with bits and bobs in your shed, bits of tools and that, and laying around. Just make some crazy thing up. As long as it works, that's all that counts. So yeah, just keep tightening this up now. I say I got another 5mm to go for it to pop out the other side. So yeah, let's get it done. So that's in. See, it's hanging over like it was before. You know when it's fully in, because you can put all your weight on that and it will not go anymore. So yeah, that's fully in. Let's take it apart and get the van rebuilt. Ooh, absolutely shattered, but it's on, it's done. So there we go, it's on, it's in. And perfect. Yeah, there's a couple of little dents in there, but that's for using bolts. Using them, it was all good. So yeah, like I say, just keep practicing, just keep trying all different ways of doing it. But got it in. So just making bits and bobs. All got laying around in my shed, bits of tools and that, just to get it in. So yeah, there we go. You could have used like a piece of wood here with these in between the wood and that, but you will need something what will come over this to either side to bolt, so it will pull it through. So yeah, there we go. It's a rear bush done on a wishbone, bottom arm, and the engine mounting bushes done. Time to go fit them to the car. That's the subframe back on. All the bolts back in. Right, what I did first, get the subframe, get my little trolley jack with a piece of wood across to lift it up. When it was up, I just put a couple of threads on these back ones here, subframe bolts, both sides, a couple of threads. Then that holds the subframe up at an angle. Then what I did, I got my steering rack bolts, put them through, wiggle the steering rack into place, put them up just finger tight both sides. Did exactly the same with the anti-roll bar, put the bolts through, just finger tighten them up so I know they was all in place. Then I put the front subframe bolts up, did them up not tight, just loosely. Then what I did is put the back ones in, seeing they was all in, I know it was all lined up. I just tightened up all the subframe bolts up so they're nice and tight. Make sure there's no pipes or anything or creased or wires in the way or like that being crushed. That was all good. So I just went and tightened all the bolts up. They're nice and tight now. So yeah, then after I tightened all them up, I put the bar on, the rear engine mount bar through, tighten the back up, put the wheels in, tighten these up. So yeah, tell you the hardest bit is getting them in, them back bushes. That's the hardest bit of this job. Just get them in. All the rest is pretty simple really, as long as all the bolts undo. So yeah, all I'm going to do now is put the wishbones back on, line them up, then put them on, put the wheels back on, we'll be able to drop the car back on its feet. Got no play in the engine there. That is absolute bonus. It was wiggling around before. So yeah, got no play in that back anymore. So that's going to make a big difference now. So yeah, there we go. So let's get these wishbones on. So there we go, all done. There weren't no point in really showing you how to put it back together. It's just like taking it apart in reverse. So yeah, simple job really. Yeah, like I say, it's just bushes what are a pain in the arse to do. It's trying to find a garage what will push them in for you, and if you do, it's going to be expensive. So yeah, so that was pretty easy really. Them bushes are a pain in the arse, but the rest of it a doddle. So that's the rear engine mount done. Hardly no play in it now. So yeah, that's a bonus. And the wishbone back bush is done as well. So now all the bushes and everything's been done on this now. It's all sweetie. So yeah, there we go. So, hope this has helped you out. Any questions, just drop them down in the comments. I'll try and help you out. Like I say, with pushing them in, pressing them in, use what you got. If you're doing this kind of work, you're gonna have stuff laying around, tools and bits of wood and stuff like that. Just use what you got. Use that. It costs a lot less than having it done. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna leave it there for today. Catch you next time. Stay safe.